Amazon Echo Dot. With the Amazon Echo, the online retailer essentially created an entirely new genre of product. The smart speaker, as it's become known, was a means for Amazon to take its voice assistant, Alexa, and turn it from a piece of software made primarily for searching video catalogs into a much more general assistant. Alexa has grown from an interesting curiosity into a very capable voice assistant that can help you with everything from telling you the weather to playing music from Spotify. But the biggest problem with the original Echo is its built-in speaker, which has drawn flack for its poor sound quality. It's fine for giving you news and weather updates, but it's not something that you'd want to use to listen to music. Enter the Amazon Echo Dot, which slims down the built-in speaker while also allowing you to connect to any external speaker you please. What you're left with is a much smaller piece of hardware that ends up almost resembling a Chromecast audio in addition to its other voice-activated smarts. This form factor makes an enormous amount of sense, and although the Dot isn't quite seamless in how it uses external speakers, it's still a massive improvement over the full-size Echo. In many ways, its cheaper price and smaller size make the Dot the perfect way to get Alexa into your home. See how we got on when we used the Echo Dot over the course of a week. The Echo Dot is a good-looking little product. It's around the same circumference as the full-size Echo, but this new Dot lacks a volume ring, meaning that it has an additional 2 buttons on its top to control volume directly in addition to the mute and listen buttons. The Dot also has the same light ring found on the Echo, which indicates when Alexa is listening to you through its 7-microphone array or whether the speaker is muted, useful if you're watching a movie and don't want to be interrupted when Alexa thinks she's heard her name. The most striking difference from the Echo is the Dot's height. At just 32 mm tall, the device is a full 20 cm shorter than its bigger brother. It's not as small as the aforementioned Chromecast audio, but it's pretty dinky all the same. Its size means that it's much easier to tuck away in a nook or cranny of your choosing, although naturally you'll want to make sure that it's still able to hear you speak. We found that the Echo Dot worked well in the kitchen where it was able to easily fit on top of a microwave, but placed next to a stereo was also good, so long as the hardware wasn't too close to the speakers, making it overpowering for the microphones to pick up commands properly. Around the rear of the device is a micro USB port to provide power to the speaker, as well as a 3.5 mm port to allow the Dot to connect to an external speaker. Unfortunately, there's no option for digital output like with the Chromecast Audio's hybrid 3.5 mm analog and optical port. Anyone who's had to set up an internet-connected speaker before shouldn't have any trouble setting up the Echo Dot. Once it's plugged in, you can connect to it like any other Wi-Fi hotspot, at which point you use the Alexa app to tell it your Wi-Fi details and it'll get itself connected. In the second part of the Echo Dot's setup, you'll select whether you want to use its diminutive built-in speaker, or an external speaker via either Bluetooth or 3.5 mm jack, not included, but this can be changed easily at a later date. For example, if you set the speaker up to output its sound through its 3.5 mm line out, you can switch to its internal speaker by simply unplugging its jack, or if you want to disconnect it from the Bluetooth speaker, you can instruct Alexa with your voice to disconnect. More on this later. The Dot maintains the Echo's exceptional ability to recognize your voice while giving you the option of improving upon its biggest flaw, the sound quality, providing you've got an additional external speaker handy. Being able to use an external speaker is excellent, and means that we regularly ended up using the Dot like a Chromecast to listen to tracks off Spotify, where it was surprisingly intuitive to get songs and artists playing. In order to do so, you'll need to provide your Spotify login details and set it as your default music service over the standard Amazon Prime Music. Once that's done, you can simply say, "Alexa, play Royal Blood," and be almost instantly serenaded by the rock duo, for example. But the biggest problem with using a pair of external speakers is that, unlike the Echo Dot itself, these are not meant to be always on devices. This leaves you in a bit of a dilemma. Either you leave the Echo Dot connected to a speaker that's left permanently on and using power, or you rely on the Dot's tinny internal speaker. What we ended up doing was juggling the two. We leave the Dot unplugged the majority of the time to avoid wasting too much power, and then plug it into an external speaker when we want it to listen to some music or a podcast. The process is a little more seamless if you're using Bluetooth to connect your Dot to an external speaker, since in this instance you can simply instruct Alexa to connect, and it'll automatically pair with the most recently connected Bluetooth device. It would have been nice to have a similar option when using line out, or alternatively be able to choose a type of speaker output with a voice command. It would be great to be able to say, "Alexa, play White Stripes" through external speaker, rather than having to mess around with unplugging and replugging in cables. We were impressed with how well the Alexa was able to pick out our voice, even while music was playing loudly from a nearby speaker. There's naturally a limit to how far you can push this. It's not magic, but it's not something you have to think about balancing during a normal, non-deafening, music session.